Now let's see one more example in which you have to derive that the events are independent, or you have to say whether the events are independent or not. Okay, now let us say the experiment is about rolling 2 dice. When you are rolling 2 dice, what is the sample space? Sample space is going to contain 36 events, isn't it, or 36 elements. What are all the elements? 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, so on, 1 6, and again 2 1, 2 2, so on, 2 6. Similarly, you are going to have 6 1, 6 2, so on, 6 6. These are the 36 elements that will be present in the sample space. Got it? And now let's define one event, event E1. Now event E1 is getting a 4 on first die. What is the probability of E1? What is the probability of getting a 4 on the first die? Out of these 36 events, you will have 6 events or 6 elements with 4 in the first die, 4 1, 4 2, so on, 4 6. So out of 36 we have 6, that is 4 by 31, 6 by 36, which is 1 by 6. 1 by 6 is the probability of getting E1. Now let us say E2 is an event in which sum on the 2 dice, sum of 2 dice is, let's say, 6. So if you want sum to be 6, then what are the possible outcomes that we should expect on the dice? So what are the possible elements? One is 6 means 1 comma 5 and 5 comma 1, right? And similarly 2 comma 4 and 4 comma 2, and similarly 3 comma 3. Therefore, what is the probability? Probability of E2, it turned out to be how much? 5 by 36, isn't it? Now what about E1 intersection E2? So what is E1 intersection E2? The E1 is getting a 4 on the first die, and E2 is sum of the 2 dice is 6. So it is nothing but E1 intersection E2 is nothing but getting a 4 on the first die. So what is getting a 4 on the first die? This one, and getting a 6. So only this is intersection, this is present in both of them. If you want to see what will be present in E1, you can see it, 4 comma 1, 4 comma 2, right, 4 3, 4 4, 4 5 and 4 6. Got it? Now we have 4 to here and 4 to here. So what about both of them? So intersection is going to be 4 comma 2, and so probability of getting E1 intersection E2 is equal to 1 by 36. Now observe these numbers. Probability of getting E1 is 1 by 6, probability of getting E2 is 5 by 36, and probability of getting E1 intersection E2 is 1 by 36. Now clearly it is very clear that probability of E1 intersection E2 is not equal to probability of E1 into probability of E2, isn't it? You can check it. Why? Because left hand side happened to be 1 by 36 and the right hand side happened to be 1 by 6 into 5 by 36, right? Clearly they are not equal. So since this formula is not satisfied, we can now declare that they are not independent, which means E1 and E2 are dependent. So these two events are actually dependent. Now try to use your intuition and find out why. Now we are interested in getting a sum of 6 and the first die turned out to be 4. They are actually dependent. You should be happy. Why? If the total that you wanted is 6 and the first die turned out to be 4, therefore there is still a chance of getting a sum of 6, isn't it? In case if the first die turned out to be 6, then you will never get a chance of getting a sum 6, isn't it? See, now let us say you are just rolling the dice. Instead of 4, if a 6 turned up, if a 6 has turned up, then what happens? You will never get a sum of 6, you will at least get a sum of 7. So still, even though you got 4 on the first die, since you are going to have since you still have the probability of getting a 6, you should be happy. Therefore they are dependent, right? Intuitively you should think about it. Intuitively you should have that feel. Okay, if you are not getting that feel, try to think about it and try to understand it. What I am trying to say here is, you should be happy that the first die turned out to be 4, because still there is a chance of getting a 6, right? In case if the first die doesn't turn out to be 4, then the sum might not be possible to be 6. Therefore the event of getting a 6 as the sum is actually dependent on what happens on the first die, isn't it? If the first die happens to be 4, yes, you have the chance of getting the sum as 6. If the first die happens to be 6, you don't have a chance of getting the sum as 6. Got it? Therefore events, these two are dependent, they are not independent. Are you getting this? The sum of getting a 6 depends on what happens on the first die. Clearly, if it happens to be a number less than 6, you will be happy, and there is a probability that you might get a you will get something as 6, isn't it? If you get a number which is not less than 6, which is exactly 6, then you will not get it. Are you able to get it? Okay, so I'll just take one more example in case if you didn't understand it. Let's say E3 is an event that sum on the dice is 7. Okay, so what is the probability of E3? Now find out what are all the possibilities for E3. One possibility is 1 6 6 1. This is going to give us a sum of 7, and the other possibility is 2 5 5 2, right? And the other possibility is 3 4 and 4 3. Got it? So these are all the possibilities. So one possibility is are you getting all the possibilities? Now what about probability of E3? Out of 36 events, 6 elements are favoring us. So 6 by 36, which is nothing but 1 by 6. Now think about E1 intersection E3. So what is E1 intersection E3 here? So the event of getting a 4 on the first die and the sum of both the dice is equal to 7. So only one event will be favoring, which is 4 by 3, and so the probability is again 1 by 36. Now if you observe this, P of E1 equal to 1 by 6, P of E3 equal to 1 by 6, and E1 intersection E3 equal to 1 by 36. Now clearly you can clearly say that P of E1 intersection E3 is equal to P of E1 into P of E3. Why? Because left hand side turned out to be 1 by 36, this one is 1 by 6 and 1 by 6. Therefore these two are equal. So what can we say now? We can clearly say that E1 and E3 are independent events. Now you think about it intuitively. Why? The reason is, if you want a sum to be 7, then the sum event of getting a sum as 7 is independent of what happens on the first die, because whatever happens on the first die, still there is a chance of getting a 7. Either the first die is going to give you 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. You can think about it. Anything, either the first die is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, whatever the first die is, still there is a chance of getting a sum of 7. Therefore we really don't depend on what happens on the first die. That is why these two events are independent, and this formula is clearly stating that. Got it? So since this formula is true, we can say that E1 and E3 are independent, and here E1 and E2 are dependent. Are you getting the idea? See, earlier in the event of getting 6, the first die can be either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but it cannot be 6. Therefore, the event of getting a sum as 6 depends on what happens on the first dice. If it happens to be 1 to 5, there is a probability of getting the sum as 6. If it happens to be 6, there is no probability of getting the sum. Therefore, they are actually depending on each other. But in this case, the probability of getting a sum as 7 is independent of what happens on the first die. Whatever number comes up, either it is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, always there is a probability of getting, always there is a chance of getting the sum of 7. Therefore, the event of getting a sum 7 is independent of what happens on the first die. So both are independent events. Got it? So that is how, even though they are not directly saying that they are dependent or independent, you can verify these numbers, and from there you can draw the conclusion that they are dependent or independent. Got it? Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities or 50 lakh universities, but whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is, we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.